So we're coming to the end of the forbearance period for many, many people. There's still about 2.5 million people who are in forbearance, which means that they're not paying their home and they're in some sort of plan with their bank, which allows them to not go into default. However, the end is near. This situation is not going to continue much beyond this summer. A lot of people are going to drop off their forbearance in the end of June and then into September. So there's a lot of people who are going to be affected by what happens after the fact. Now, the problem is that when you go to your bank and at the end of the forbearance, they're going to send you a letter and they're going to give you what they call options. Now, these options are not like a menu when you go to a restaurant. These options are not all the same, and they're not actually options, all of them. So we're gonna go through what you can do when you come to the end of the forbearance, specifically between repayments, partial claim, and loan modification. This is not a menu. The bank is not saying pick one of these and we'll give you whatever you want. You need to be very, very careful about that. My name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy, loan modification, and foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I would very much appreciate for you to subscribe to my channel because I do these videos twice a week for the help and edification of all the people who are out there who are dealing with situations right now which are overwhelming and they cannot control. Please like this video and like my channel, Debt Law, Survival Guide for the Desperate Debtor, and I will continue making these videos for everybody while we get out of this financial nightmare that was caused by COVID. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because you come to the end of your forbearance and you received a letter from the bank and they're asking you what you want to do moving forward. Like I said, the letter that you got offers you different options: full repayment, partial claim or deferral, partial repayment, and then the final one, which is loan modification. The problem is that when you receive this letter, the verbiage is very simple. These are your options, pick what you want. Now, really what they're saying is pick one of the first three. This will give you without a problem. The problem is the last one. The last one is the issue that most people are going to have. Loan modifications are not automatic. Even though there's a lot of things that are making loan modifications easier, loan modifications are still an application. When you apply for loan modification, you can be denied. That's a big problem. You have to understand that it is possible that you can select the loan modification option, and for various reasons, including income, the value of your property, and other factors, the bank will come back and say, no, you do not qualify for loan modification. So you need to be very, very careful, because what could happen in this situation is this process could take a few months, and then you would be out of forbearance, and then you would be out of luck. So there's a lot of people who are looking at loan modifications as some sort of alternative to refinancing. Because loan modifications will depend on credit, they say, well, I'll try loan modifications because I don't qualify for refinancing. That's the wrong reason. You cannot look at a loan modification as a refinance because it's not the same thing. Loan modifications are emergency measures for people to keep their homes when all else fails. A refinance is something you do when you have good credit, a lot of equity, and other factors like job and income. This is not the reason why you should apply for a loan modification. Applying for loan modification to try to get a better interest rate or to get better terms is not the reason why you do it, and you might very well be denied because your mortgage might not qualify or you don't have a hardship. So be very careful. Do not just willy-nilly apply for loan modification thinking, okay, well, this is how I'm going to get a lower payment, because it's very possible that you don't get a lower payment like this. Now, the other thing to think about is, why do you actually want a loan modification, and when is it a good time and a good reason to get a loan modification? Now, the reasons that I have seen that work basically is that you can no longer afford your mortgage payment. That means that even no matter what you can do with your life, your income has gone down, that you cannot afford this payment anymore. So therefore, you go to the bank and say, I'm coming out of forbearance and I cannot afford this payment for X, Y, and Z. Now be very careful by doing this, because when you do this, you shut out other options. But if this is your only option, then this is the path you have to take. Now, the other reason why a lot of people try loan modifications is because they cannot qualify for a refinance. Remember, a refinance depends on credit, it depends on your income and the value of the property and other factors. So many times, loan modification is the only option that people have for any kind of resolution with their mortgage. Those are the reasons why I think you should apply for loan modification if you are in a forbearance situation and you cannot afford your home. Loan modification is not a selection on a menu, basically, of, okay, well, I don't like my mortgage payment, so therefore I'm going to take this opportunity to get a lower loan modification, a lower payment through loan modification. Loan modification is an option. You should apply for it if you don't think you can afford the house, if your payment is very high, and you're coming out of forbearance thinking, well, I can't pay this. Well, then yes, absolutely, go for the loan modification and do it early, because the earlier you can do it, the better options you have, because if you can get it done before the forbearance period is over, then basically when the forbearance period is over, if you were denied for a loan modification, then at that point you can then get an option of a partial claim or some sort of repayment of what you owe. So that's it for now. Again, my name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy loan modification foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I've been doing these videos for a few months, but I've been practicing this type of law for 13 years. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about loan modifications, and I want all of you to very much use this opportunity to try to get a loan modification if you can, and if you can't, to use the other options of partial claim and the repayment options so that you can keep your home, because we're coming out of this and it's coming fast. The end is coming very fast. Please subscribe and like my channel, because I'm going to keep making these videos for everybody. Have a great week. Thank you very much.